What's up, guys? It's Jay, MorninAfterKill, and I'm back here with some more Borderlands news and defamation. Now that I got a little bit of extra time, seeing as how for the last, past 10 days, I've been banned for, 8 of them Jones on Twitch, I kind of got the extra time to approach the topic I previously mentioned in my vidja, proof that Gearbox paid content creators for Borderlands 3, and finally sit down and give me a chance to explain to you why this was such a big deal for me. You see, over the years, starting with Borderlands 1 and continuing towards Borderlands 2, Gearbox and the Borderlands franchise was known to give you one of the best bangs for your buck in terms of overall value and replayability, especially if you were one of the lucky ones to jump on late in the content cycle and pick up the Game of the Year editions. The DLC for Borderlands back in 2012 was second to none, each one bringing more to the table, not just in terms of gameplay, but also quality of life improvements. Moxxi's gun safe was originally introduced in the Underdome DLC. Raid bosses and new rarities were added in General Knox, and Claptrap's Rovolution gave us not only extra skill points for completing it, but the first farmable farmery without having to glitch into it, which showed that Gearbox was listening to the community. Continuing into Borderlands 2, Captain Scarlet gave us 2 raid bosses, a treasure room, and all sorts of blue rarity weapons that became synonymous with a lot of builds in this game. Torg gave us Pushover Pete to farm, and the ability to farm Torg vendors for legendaries. Hammerlock added in one of the most notoriously difficult boss fights in the franchise, a treasure room, and also featured loot that became pretty much indispensable for Salvador endgame. And then Tiny's Tina's added in class mods, the dragons, the shittiest loot room you'll ever see, and is generally considered the fan favorite DLC campaign in the series. Then we come to the Headhunter packs. What were supposed to be small, single set campaign pieces to send Borderlands 2 off, this is where the problem hit. The overwhelming positive response to these releases, especially the Son of Crawl DLC, pinged the fat cat bigwigs at 2K right in the wallet. And that's when the decision was made. They realized we're giving away too much DLC for what we're charging for. This is the size of the DLC that we should be selling, but we should be selling it for full price. Now they gotta try to figure out how to reconcile the best bang for your buck DLC in the game into single set piece campaign DLCs for full price. Enter the PreSequel. The Season Pass was announced to contain 4 post-launch releases for the PreSequel. Now, naturally, coming off 2 back-to-back stellar showings from Gearbox, Borderlands, and their DLC, the fans bought into the Season Pass, believing that the usual 4 beefy DLCs will be the standard, added in vital post-launch content and endgame activities and loot. However, what we got from Gearbox was essentially a cut Slaughterdome, rebranded and sold as a DLC, 2 characters, and Claptrap's Fantastic Voyage. This is to say, not what the community expected from Gearbox in terms of the value, the Season Pass usually offered, especially considering that they were offering all this content free in a Game of the Year edition for next-gen console, while half of this DLC still wasn't even released yet. To make things worse, they repeatedly stated prior to launch that they will not be releasing this game on next-gen consoles, forcing those that wanted to play this game at launch and buy the Season Pass to play this game on a console that they don't even want to play it on, and then they turned around and gave it to people on the next-gen consoles for free. That will never not leave a salty taste in my mouth as a consumer. I'm sorry. It's safe to say that fans and the community were not happy with the way that Gearbox handled the post-launch content of the pre-sequel. However, fans were still positive looking forward to Borderlands 3 since the pre-sequel was a spin-off developed in conjunction with Gearbox and 2K Australia. Longtime fans, myself included, were confident that Gearbox's main team can handle the monumental task of not only living up to the standards of Borderlands 2, but also pulling the series back up out of the mud after the pre-sequel. However, this time Gearbox was less confident in their own team's ability to deliver, and more importantly, they were under the belief that content creators were the reason that the pre-sequel post-launch content failed. That we spoke up about it and rallied the community to dogpile on the Gearbox to not enjoy this season pass, when in reality, we were expecting 4 full-fledged campaign DLCs in which they gave us, like I said, a half-ass Holodome. They shoved 2 characters into that DLC, which normally from Borderlands 2 set the standards that Borderlands 2 characters would be released outside of the season pass of their, the post-content campaigns. This didn't happen. Instead, Gearbox, like I said, believing that content creators were the enemy, went and made content creators the enemy of Borderlands 3. Yeah. Like, just looking at their mindset between the pre-sequel and Borderlands 3, the fact that they made content creators the enemy in Borderlands 3 shows you exactly what they think about content creators in general. But Gearbox, not willing to leave things up to chance, they set out to purchase the opinion of every content creator they could put in their pocket in an attempt to spin publicity favorably on their behalf. These content creators signed contracts that paid them monthly for a minimum amount of work, usually like 1 sponsored upload or stream a week. And the caveat for Gearbox is that in this contract, they've explicitly stated that they're not allowed to speak out against the game at all. Proof of this is how fast Baru was shit-canned by Gearbox and 2K after he spoke up about the Moe's grenade nerf in early October. This gave them the ability to release, like, literally whatever they want for the game without worrying about community backlash, because they had paid the content creators to speak positively about the game. Or, at the very least, not speak badly about it at all. Cough, cough, Joel's playing Borderlands 2 3 months after Borderlands 3 was released. Cough, cough. But the problem is that the community is just not buying it. Literally. Months after months go by, and Gearbox just continues to make all sorts of awful decisions. Nerfing DLC weapons, cough, cough, ion cannon, cough, cough. Could you imagine the backlash in Borderlands 2 if they nerfed the Pimpernel or Sandhawk? Oh my god. But they were able to do this in Borderlands 3 because they had the content creators on their payroll, so nobody would speak up about this. They also, they had terrible character balance, skills in the game not working properly. Cough, cough, Zane, I'm looking at you for like the first year and a half. Cough, cough. seasonal content that's uninspired and unoriginal, you know, DLC focusing on woke campaign content that no one gives a fuck about. And then came the Season 2 DLC. And this is the culmination of all of Gearbox and 2K's hard work in silencing the community by releasing Season 2 DLC for $30. And for $30, you too can buy a Varkid Raid Boss that was discovered cut from the game 2 weeks after the game was released in 2018, and the Designer Cut, which comes with new skill trees and a game mode that you can't even use these skill trees in. Why? Because their new game mode, Arms Race, doesn't have skill trees. Like, who the fuck, like, really greenlit that one at Gearbox? I want to be a fly on the wall for whoever was like, yo, we should put new skill trees out. They're like, yeah. You know what else we should do? We should put out a game mode that has no skill trees in the same DLC. Yeah, because that's what we want to do. We want to give you a game mode that you can play, but can't use your new fucking skill trees in, right? Whoa, whatever. But once again, the content creation community was silenced because Gearbox paid all the big players in the game to be complacent because they're collecting their monthly checks. Who cares how the community's doing? Why should I build a directory on Twitch? How many people are playing the game? I don't know. Why? Because it doesn't affect me, because I'm a content creator that has my monthly bills being paid for by Gearbox and 2K, right? That's basically how that happened. And this is how you get garbage like the post-launch content for Wonderlands. Because Gearbox and 2K, they feel like they don't have to pay these content creators anymore. Their job is done. They sat by and they willingly let Gearbox devalue the DLC over the last like 7-some years, leading to them feeling confident enough to hammer out whatever garbage that they want to crap down our necks. But the mistake they made this time with Wonderlands was not paying these content creators anymore. Because why should they though? This generation of kids that are growing up with Borderlands 3 and Wonderlands, they have no idea what they're missing. The amount of content that they could be getting, but are not getting because Gearbox and 2K successfully devalued the value of their DLC. And I hope the couple $1,000s that they put in your pockets a month, guys, I hope that shit was worth it. Seriously, the whole future of the franchise rested on that couple $1,000. That's the saddest part out of all this. My name's Jay, MorninAfterKill. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna see y'all motherfuckers later.